First at 5 o'clock, I'm sad to report a deadly start to the new year in Portland. Police say 3 people were shot and killed in the first 2 days of 2022. Hello, everyone. I'm Laurel Porter. The violence we saw over the weekend is eerily similar to what we saw much of last year. But as Mike Benner reports, a team of specially trained officers focused on preventing gun violence is expected to hit the streets in the coming days.
A lone piece of yellow crime tape, all that's left following a shooting near North Vancouver and Morgan in Portland Sunday morning. Authorities tell us 1 person was killed.
That's terrible.
Brendan Robar has lived in the Piedmont neighborhood for more than a decade. He says the shooting over the weekend wasn't the first since he moved in, and in all likelihood, it won't be the last.
It seems that people are shooting each other because they're in a thing together. There's some deal going on that's going wrong or whatever.
Detectives have not yet revealed a motive in the Piedmont neighborhood shooting or an earlier shooting in the Argay Terrace neighborhood. Just 90 minutes into the new year, 3 people were shot near Northeast Sandy and 131st Place. 1 person died at the scene, a 2nd at the hospital, while the 3rd should survive. And unfortunately, there's another shooting to report. On Sunday afternoon, somebody was shot in the chest near Northwest 2nd and Cooch. Authorities say the victim was alive and breathing on the way to the hospital.
The arbitrary changing from one year to another isn't going to change the atmosphere in our city.
Lieutenant Nathan Shepard of the Portland Police Bureau is disturbed by the deadly start to 2022, but not necessarily surprised. That's based on what happened in 2021. Lieutenant Shepard says there were more than 1,200 confirmed shootings across Portland. 386 people were injured by the gunfire. 69 of those people killed.
It's easy to get caught up in the numbers because they're so big, but there's a story behind each of those.
Lieutenant Shepard hopes the Bureau's new Focused Intervention Team, or FIT for short, will help quell the violence by responding to shooting scenes, assisting with investigations, and trying to prevent the gunfire. FIT's 12 officers and 3 sergeants should begin specialized training later this week, with plans to hit the streets on the 15th.
When they deploy on the 15th, shootings aren't going to instantly stop. This is going to be a process. It's going to be a process of building those relationships. Eventually, they're going to make a difference, but we need to let the process move forward.
Back in the Piedmont neighborhood, Brendan Robar is hoping to see change sooner rather than later.
I hope so. Yeah, people are stressed. I mean, there's a lot of fear going around. That's kind of the worst thing for our society.
It was a violent start to the new year in Gresham as well. On the afternoon of New Year's Day, a person was shot and killed at an apartment complex near Southeast 187th and Stark. That shooting, along with the 3 in Portland, are unsolved. Anyone with information should contact authorities. Reporting in North Portland, I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
Snow and ice in the Cascades and the Columbia River Gorge are making for some dangerous conditions on the roads. If you have to travel that way tonight or in the coming days, you're going to want to prepare and check your route before you go. Several areas are closed right now. Both Interstate 84 and SR 14 are closed from the Portland area to the Dalles. Around Mount Hood, Highway 26 and Highway 35 are both closed tonight. There are more closures all around the state. Check ODOT's tripcheck.com or WashDOT's travel map on their website before you head out. KGW meteorologist Joe Ranieri is in Troutdale tonight, where we mentioned I-84 is still closed heading east. Joe, some truck drivers have been waiting hours for it to open back up.
Exactly right, Laurel. Good evening to you. And that wait could easily stretch over into the later part of tonight, if not into tomorrow as well. Now, a big reason why I-84 is just a slick mess right now, still dealing with a lot of snow and ice. You can see behind me, all these trucks here have been parked along the side of this exit for about 12 to 13 hours, and it looks like they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Now, I want to show you some video of just how slick things are just a few miles from us. This is video from viewer Eric Bradley that shows just how slick things are the farther east you go out into along I-84. And now the snowfall has been really intense since late yesterday afternoon. This is a video from Stevenson, Washington, where in some locations they've received more than 2 feet of snow in the last 24 hours.
Stevenson proper is pretty well shut down. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 vehicles out. I videotaped a couple of vehicles, kind of a steep road behind us appeared to be four-wheel drive vehicles trying to get up the road, and they had no success at all.
Now, the Oregon Department of Transportation hasn't said when all of the Interstate 84 could reopen, although some sections were able to open in eastern Oregon just a couple of hours ago. Now, here's a few pictures that ODOT took showing just how bad the roads are over there. There was so much snow in some spots that the drifts were at least 4 feet high in spots coming up to some people's cars, the top of their cars. Now, we are still going to be looking at another round of ice and snow like Matt Safino has been telling you here all afternoon and this evening. And again, like you just said, Laurel, if you can avoid traveling over the mountain passes or I-84, you're going to have to. Hopefully you can hold off in the next couple of days until conditions hopefully improve a little bit. Reporting live in Troutdale tonight, Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
Boy, those pictures really tell the story. Thank you, Joe. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino now. Matt, we did see a huge amount of snow in the mountains today. What's the outlook?
Yeah, there's more snow on the way tonight and tomorrow. So in the gorge, it's going to be really rough sledding for a while there. Same thing over Highway 26 on Mount Hood. Basically, just don't go unless you know the road is open. Because if you go right now, you're going to be sitting in your car or turning around and wasting your time, and that is never fun. It's 20 degrees up at 6,000 feet on Mount Hood right now at Timberline Lodge, Mount Hood National Forest. We're losing the light, but we are not losing the snow. Check this out. Timberline is now up to 23 inches in the last 24 hours. It's been snowing at the rate at times of 2 inches an hour, even 8 inches in 3 hours. So we're approaching an average of an inch an hour for 24 hours. That is very, very heavy snowfall. Meanwhile, Mount Hood Meadows, 20 inches in the last 24 hours. Both Timberline and Ski Bowl closed early today. Meadows did too. They closed at 4 o'clock, so no night skiing on Mount Hood tonight. And at Ski Bowl, earlier I told you that the snow was so deep they couldn't even find the snow stake to measure the snow. Well, the automatic telemetry that measures precipitation and weather up there is back online. It was down for a while, and there's been 19 inches of new snow at Ski Bowl at least in the last 24 hours. And I say at least because, again, that telemetry was down for a bit there. Now, on Doppler radar, the valleys, not so bad, but it is beginning to snow up in the West Hills here. So from about 800 to 1,000 feet, we may get a half an inch, even an inch of wet snow there. The valleys proper, just rain, but boy, the snow in the Cascades will continue to just hammer away. Same thing in Northeast Oregon. It's lightening up a little bit right now. They're having some very limited success opening I-84 eastbound at times. But again, if you live in Eastern Oregon or need to travel through Eastern Oregon, make sure you check the road conditions before you try to cross the mountains over there. In the gorge, there's a winter weather advisory for the Western Gorge, combination of snow or sleet or freezing rain and rain for a time, but mainly just snow. Then the Central Gorge and up the Hood River Valley and up the valleys on the Washington side, it's all snow. It's been super deep. I'll have pictures for you a little bit later on. Northeast Oregon, again, the valleys, not bad, but once you get to the foothills and then the mountains, it is heavy snow and blowing snow and really cold, and that's why we're having all of these closures on the roadway. So for the Cascades overnight tonight, tomorrow, another 12 to 20 inches of snow. It's really not going to lighten up very much overnight at all. In fact, it'll pick up again during the day tomorrow. The Gorge, another 5 to 10 inches of snow overnight and in the morning. And then for the West Hills, a trace to maybe an inch overnight tonight. So there is a lot going on, but there is a bright light at the end of the 7-day forecast. It's called the sun. Laurel, you may have heard of it. It is going to come back.
We always love those bright lights, and definitely know before you go tonight. Thank you, Matt. In the last 4 days, nearly 10,000 people in Oregon got infected with COVID-19. That's in the last 4 days, and 11 people died. The Oregon Health Authority says 9,701 new cases of COVID-19 were reported from Thursday through Sunday. That includes a new record for the most cases in one day. On Thursday, 3,534 new cases were reported. As COVID cases continue to surge in Oregon, healthcare leaders worry a huge wave of cases will hit hospitals in the next week or two. So far, that hasn't happened, but hospitalizations are going up. Take a look at this graph, and it shows the number of people hospitalized in Oregon with the virus. The top line is all cases. The high point was September, with more than 1,100 people. To the far right, you can see the current total is closer to 400. But experts like Peter Graven from OHSU expect that number to soon go much higher.
What we're seeing is a trend, and it's zeroing in on Oregon next, and it's essentially imminent. We know that Omicron makes up a large share of all the cases right now, and is expected to spread through both the vaccinated and unvaccinated populations and shortly.
Graven pointed out that many who do not have booster shots are the ones getting infected. He also said the number of children getting COVID is also on the rise. We're learning more today about fires that injured several people trying to stay warm at homeless camps recently. Bryant Clerkley is here with what started the fires over the weekend. Bryant?
Hey, Laurel, the 3 fires were started by things like candles and propane heaters. Within a 12-hour period on Saturday, 4 people were burned while trying to keep warm.
There's been times where I've had absolutely nothing, so I've had to cover myself up.
Ryan Karras knows the challenge of trying to stay warm during the winter on Portland's streets. He's standing in line to turn in cans, money he'll use to keep a generator running.
I've used candles and stuff like that inside a tent, which is dangerous, you know, and can cause fire.
This past weekend, firefighters saw the devastating results of people trying to fight off the cold.
They were using a propane heater to stay warm in the tent by their feet. There was a hose connected to the propane heater, and it either came loose, was jarred loose, caught the material around it on fire, and then the actual propane tank exploded.
This was the scene today on Northeast Grand and Everett, where the propane tank exploded. When firefighters got here, they found a man and a woman with severe burns to their legs. They were taken to the Emmanuel Burn Center.
It was a complete burn from the top down in that encampment. So they were fortunate to get out. But what we want people to know is that if you need to be warm, you have to do it safe.
Also this weekend on Southeast 6th and Woodward, another man got second-degree burns on one of his hands from using an accelerant. And in downtown Portland, a man suffered second-degree burns to his arms and legs after a candle caught his sleeping bag on fire.
Keep all your fires away from combustibles at least 25 feet. You know, if you have a burn barrel, that's the safest place, but you have to have it in a container to stay warm, and definitely not have anything burning inside of a shelter or a tent.
Ryan Karras is now very aware of how to stay safe after experiencing the fear that can come with taking desperate measures.
I've woken up several times and smelled smoke or anything like that. And you freak out, you know, you don't know, because if there is a fire in a tent, it's going to go up really quick.
Firefighters say people who are seeking shelter can call 211 to get info and to schedule a ride to a shelter. Laurel?